hope you enjoyed your Christmas and New Year's Day. I bought myself a Switch and had to put it down so you guys would have a review this weekend. So, you're welcome. Last week was a bit of a clusterfuck with all the holidays and such going on. None of us really found adequate time to make a review, so apologies on that front. Anyway, this week's skin is Aquarium. Made by Adderbo555. The forum thread mentions that there are two versions of the skin, the full and the mini version. The mini version has less animation files and thus a smaller size, but I won't be reviewing that one. I will be talking about the full version. Anyway, let's get started. Starting with this selection mode is in 3-4. Hold on a moment. There we go. Anyway, the selection tab's up top. The tab shapes have been replaced with capsule shapes, and it looks good. There's a bit of anime in the skin, as seen on the song buttons. However, the anime here isn't a detriment, since she fits in really well. And the skin's theme is aquatic elements with some anime elements. No complaints from me. I do like how the leaderboards on the right have a rounded rectangle shape to them. As you probably know, the leaderboards and the song buttons share the same element. However, the way the game positions and uses the song buttons doesn't let me see the rounded corners. You might be able to fool someone into thinking that these two things don't use the same element, but the shine gives it away. Still, it's clever. The bottom section is really nice. Its background is very detailed and pleasing to look at. The cutout for the profile section is just about pixel perfect. The back buttons animation is actually really well done. It could be passed off as a work of a professional. The buttons all highlight in different colors and the effect works nicely here. All modes have been skinned, so all the mode icons have been skinned too. They look good, and the anime elements that pops up is pretty decent as well. The mods look fantastic, each one simply sporting a neat little icon with no tech. Also, got 'em. Much like with the mod icons, the ranking screen chooses to use symbols and icons instead of text. There is no ranking title, there is no text for the retry and replay buttons. There's not even any text on the panel itself except for the numbers. Despite this, readability is not a concern, which is due to the strong execution. I do think that Adderbo should have skinned that little sliver that is just beneath the black section at the top of the screen. The awkward gap there could have been avoided. However, this part of the screen can't be skinned normally. There is no element for it. Instead, you have to get a little bit creative. I won't con the skin for having that gap, since it's pretty much a limitation of skinning, albeit one that can be worked around. Anyway, there's not much else to talk about here. The ranking panel takes up the whole screen but doesn't block the map's background. The skinner did a great job condensing the numbers and managing the spacing between them. This can be tricky and tedious to do, so I gotta commend them for the efforts. Looks great. I do think that the back button integration could have been handled better here, but it blends in well enough with the background to be a non-issue. Generally, the gameplay is pretty much on point. The hit circles and sliders look great and they play well. There's a surprising amount of variety with the combo colors. The follow points are very bright as the borders on the hit circles themselves. Personally, I don't have much of an issue with this, but I know that quite a few players will find them distracting. Another problematic element would be the cursor. While it looks really good, it can be tough to keep track of. It blends in with the lighter combo colors a lot. The hit sounds are a variety of samples from various skins, but the bass seems to be aesthetic. They don't blend in with the music, nor are they distracting from the music, so no problems there. The pause and fail screens have a design similar to that of the ranking screen. This is also where most of the skin's anime is. They're cropped in well enough and they stay within the skin's theme, so they're fine. The icons behind the buttons are a cool touch, instead of saying pause or fail at the top of the screen. I'm not sure where the fail music is from, but it starts off pretty somber. The HP bar is fine, no issues, the spinner is awesome. The last complaint I have is with the key input overlay. The overlay itself looks decent enough and I like the keyboard and mouse icons beneath the buttons, but the numbers can be a bit of a pain to read over them. Some more contrast would be nice.
There's not much for me to say here. The Skinner tried to carry over the minimalist look into the Mania gameplay while throwing in a few pretty assets, like the small explosion for when you hit a note. They're really pretty. All key modes are skinned, and A key uses a 7+1 layout, meaning that the leftmost column is red. This is a reference to BMS, a rhythm game, which has this exact property. Sadly, as clean as it looks, I have many problems with the gameplay. First being the hit lighting. The two lines that protrude the playfield match the color of the notes and take up more than half of the playfield, making reading significantly harder. The columns are also a bit thin. It's no default skin, but it definitely could have been made thicker. And as for the judgments, 300 looks very similar to 200. Trying to get 100% accuracy in some charts feels very awkward because it doesn't give the proper feedback the player needs.
Song selection gets a 4. For the most part, the screen is pretty solid. However, the fact that the selection mode defaults to being based on a 3:4 resolution is weird and, in my opinion, outdated, as the vast majority of players use 16:9 or 16:10 resolutions. Ranking screen gets a 4.5. It meets and exceeds its requirements. It's not perfect, but it is excellent.
The Mania gameplay is honestly not that great in this one. I found way too many things to be distracting about it, and my accuracy gets significantly worse with this skin. The graphics look nice, but it's pretty much unusable for anything above a 2-star map. I'll give it 1.5 out of 5.
Gameplay gets a 3.5. The gameplay is well above average. It's easily above a generic minimalistic skin, but its flaws are definitely noticeable, especially regarding the cursor. Overall, a 4. Aquarium is in the upper echelon of skins. It falls short of skins like Yugen, Aesthetic, or Blueberry, but it is on par with skins like Sky or the original Hue Shift. Visuals get a 5 and playability gets a 4.
What do you think of this skin? What do you think of my review? Let us know by using comments below. If you enjoy, let us know leaving a like. If you see our content on beef. Other than also much for watching. I'll see you next.